Well, hello, welcome your faces to day one of the beautiful, wonderful War of Myth West final. Fantastic teams all across kind of Europe and even North America coming together for the next 3 days. It's going to be pretty awesome. My name is Imperium. I'm bringing you through the action on my own, unfortunately, for the first couple of days, but I'm going to be joined by a juicy special guest on the final day, so it's going to be good fun. Watch out for that. This is going to be pretty kind of fast-paced in terms of, because it's only 3 games, you know, 3 games per day, so it's a total of 9 games. You really got to make those results count. The maps that we're going to have in order for each day is going to be Miramar, Game 1, Senhak, Game 2, and ending on Erangel for Game 3. You might be wondering, what's the list of teams in the lobby? Who's playing Imperium? Oh, don't worry, I have the info. I'm here to tell you. Let me transition. Bingo, there you go. You got it. So we currently have Passion Fruit Esports, North American team. Panda, an EU team. UDR Killers, an EU team. Destiny, an EU team. Nova Esports NA, speaks for itself in the title. GODSENT CIS team. Galaxy Racers, former Guns, MENA roster. Yalla Esports, a MENA team. Arab GSG, Alpha Legends, Raad Esports, Alliance, Nasr, QALYA, AKRE Triples, Conqueror Europe, Fate Esports, 25x9 Triple, and followed by, last but not least, Lazarus Esports. So let me go from that to that so you can see the slot list in front of you, so you have an idea on what team is going to be in what slot number. 110%. So really looking forward to that. It's going to be kick-ass because obviously, you know, the server for the games is going to be in Europe. So I imagine that the players from NA are going to have obviously a little bit of a ping difference. But to be fair, it's still great to see teams from North America, Europe, Middle East coming together. CIS as well. No Turkish teams from what I can tell. Correct me if I'm wrong. But no Turkish teams, which is obviously a little bit feels bad, man, because of the caliber they do hold. But I know I'm looking forward to casting Elias. I'm looking forward to seeing how the GODSENT roster are developing. They're formerly known as Team Pain in the CIS region. And of course, you know, Destiny and UDR. Destiny have a new roster as well, kind of preparing for the upcoming PMPLs, and if any of these teams have to do PMCLs, I'm not sure who has PMPL slots, if all of them have PMPL slots for their respective regions. But yeah, this is going to be really good. As I said, starting off with Miramar for Game 1. So I'm expecting no, it's on. Yeah, it's going to be obviously a little bit slow paced. I feel for the first game of the day, it's going to kind of have to take its time for the teams. Some teams to get familiar with each other. For a lot of these teams will, of course, have played against each other in the past. I'm specifically looking at the Middle Eastern teams and European teams, and in the likes of the EMEA, for example. And then Europe and CIS teams are used to coming up against each other in scrims or tournaments. It is, I suppose, a level of unknown with the NA teams, and how how basically the other teams are gonna deal with the North American teams and vice versa. We are just waiting for all the players to join the lobby, and we'll be getting into this Game 1 pretty soon, so I'm looking forward to it. Of course, throw your support in chat for who you want to see win and across the 3 games today, and even the tournament as a whole. Don't forget to share this stream, please, if you can, to get as many eyes on it. It's a fantastic tournament brought to you by it's managed by 7 Directions, So this is it's brought to you by Murder, so it's really cool. Yeah, really looking forward to it. It's of course it'd be nice to have a co-caster, but yeah. The good thing as well is the spectator mode recently got fixed, so it's a little bit easier to give overview perspectives of where players and teams are. Primarily, always look to get into the kind of first-person perspective of a team fight for any of the players, but for a team engagement, especially when I'm controlling it on my own, it can be a little bit difficult to go into that first person. So it's nice to have that nice sweep aerial shot that I'm going to be able to show of all these teams. It's going to be pretty kick-ass. I'm looking forward to team fights. If I had to put like kind of a bit of a bet on one of the teams in game one coming out on top, it would have to be Galaxy Racers, the former Guns roster. They looked really strong. Between kind of EMEA and struggled a bit in PMWI, but they're a very good roster. So yeah, or Alliance I could see coming out on top too in this game one. Definitely, for sure. We are loading into the game, so we'll be getting into it in the next 25 seconds. You won't have to see my ugly face, and you will be able to catch all the action. So let's have a good old time. Let's have some fun and do our best to, provide a bit of entertainment for you guys and hopefully bring you some action along the way. Hoping the playing path for this game one is going to be fairly solid. It would be nice if it was, I'll tell you that much. Fortunately, it's not. It's actually quite disgustingly over on the east. Feels bad, man. Feels bad, man, indeed. Excited to see Passion Fruit. Haven't been able to really cast them excessively since the PMCO North America spring split. Of course, an overall completely different roster. But still always been a fan of the org name and a fan of what they produced back then. Raad dropping early to go to the west, probably towards Chumas area. Lazarus dropping in El Azahar. Because this is a mix of kind of western of North America and kind of Europe, Middle East teams, I'm expecting a couple of hot drops, and indeed the side of RGSG dropping with Lazarus. Telly now looking to drop and get closer to his teammates, because I think it's important when you do drop with another team that you're able to basically come together as quickly as possible, even if it's just one gun, no helmet, nothing in your play. That when you're together, the manpower will overall most likely come out on top. See Osama take a couple of shots towards Joey with the shotgun. Captain and Beza also together. It's Flash that's further back, to be fair, for the RGSG crew. So Joey's looking to backtrack around the side of the building, being given support by his teammate Fears. Fears is a little bit out in the open. Sofido is close by, but I would argue Sofido is not close enough. See Alliance and the side of 25x9 triple are engaging each other as well, but I really want to keep an eye on this team fight. Also a good fan of Lazarus as well, and to see what they can do. Wow, Ali with the DPS. Alliance, have they been wiped out? Just like that? Okay, this is pretty crazy. And then GODSENT onto Galaxy Racers, who are down to 3 players by water treatment. That is pretty kick-ass. Yeah, not all of Alliance are taken out. They're down to 2. They've been kicked out of Hacienda by 25x triple. Maybe I should have panned around, but with so many teams 18, you know, I don't want to hip-hop too quickly, because then I feel like I'm going to miss a lot more action. But there's a bit of a stalemate between Lazarus and RGSG, so let's switch on over to Destiny as they look to take a fight on the crater area of La Bandita. Going up against Nasr. Beast does kick things off with a nice clean knock on that one, but Times does not catch his side, and Nabo will find a shot onto him, but now the focus has to go from Times onto Beast. Where's Swave? Where's Mihi? Times is finished off. Mihi is there, Swave is there, Beast is all on his lonesome. The best thing he can do is use that knock to disengage, in my opinion. But for the time being, he's going to hang around where he is. Just going to turn my mic down a bit. I don't want to be too loud, especially when things get hyped, so I'm just keeping an eye on it. Let me know if it does need to be turned up. But, want to make sure I'm not blowing your ears off when it comes to the hype moments later on in the game. Nice one by Beast. Does get a knock onto Nabo. Should have exited away from the map earlier on. Sorry about that, my friend. The German legend that is. Given a little bit more freedom as Mihi is now starting to move closer and towards the crater area. The IGL of the team. It's important that Mihi looks to bring the team together. One of the criticisms that I've had for Destiny in the past is losing players early on. And it's already been the case as times goes down, followed by Beast being knocked in the back by Batika. Does confirm Beast, but Mihi does find him in the end. The damage is done though. Swave will look to move forward. Have a bit of an off angle on the high ground with a UMP. It's not the best long distance weapon, but he doesn't have any kind of scope on it, so it's all iron sight, just doing what he can to fire the shots in the direction of the GSG players and give a little bit of space and time so Mihi can play on the side of that crater field and wrap around as he does look to punish Nabo. Very well played by the IGL. Now Swave pushes forward. Actually, no, he's going to wrap around on the other side. I thought he was going to push right down into the building. Communication is going to be key for Mihi and Swave if they're going to really get the better of what is, at the moment, the body disadvantage. 1v2. Nice pre-fire shots by me. Switches over from the AKM to the UMP. It's going to be a lot better. Does find one knock. Has to dip back around. A little bit of help being fired up. Has to switch gun. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out. And he does end up getting taken out. His teammate Swave doing what he can to try and cover him, but it's just not enough. Swave is left on his own. Started this game on. I thought it was going to be relatively passive, but suppose I didn't take into account the potential hot drops, and we are seeing it right here, right now. Will Swave move away and look to fight for late game, or will he just do what he can to secure as many kills before he suffers his inevitable doom? This phase 1 is very healthy to where Swave is as a solo, to just get into a building or small compound and stay huddled down, hopefully not getting caught out as the circles close in, and he prays to the PUBG Mobile gods that they stick in his direction. The fight has, for the most part, started to break out, if not fully finished, as members of GSG are taken out by Lazarus. Well played. Credit to Nasr boys off the back of getting a couple of knocks, keeping themselves up as a full squad and 3 kills is very respectable. And Nova Esports NA. YDD, Reen, Z-Fan, and Memory. Pleasure to be casting this team. Absolute pleasure to be casting. Holding on to the high ground to the southwest of Los Leones. It's a great place to hold on to for this phase 1. Actually, really, there's not too many better places because it's quite center without being obviously in the city. Los Leones is at the heart of this phase on, but nobody should look to go there. Fate landed there, but either disengaging away from the city completely or shifting over to the western edge would be, in my opinion, the best bet for them. Blue Zone is already starting to close in on this phase one. Started to quiet down things as teams grab their loot, grab their vehicles, and start to move out from their drop spots. Oh, excuse me. Wow, apologies. Woo. Lines down to 2 players. Team that I thought could take this game one, and a much harder task in front of them. UDR Killers, the EU team, Spanish side as well, no doubt. Big fans of the UDR boys. Pope Sandro, Sebi, Ulysses. No Pocus playing in this one. Still a strong side as they rotate towards the edge of Los Leones. A great place, an area roughly that I recommended for Fate, but Fate are quite slow to rotate away from the city, and they might opt to leave it till phase 2 to disengage away from Los Leones, but by that point, you have 4, 5, 6 teams around them. It could be quite a difficult task, as Conqueror only seem to start in this game as a duo. As he in combat feels bad, man. Open for a full squad, or of course 3 players playing for them. Shots from 1 in 9, 6, 3 players doesn't work out. Escobar tries to catch him out, but they're better than that. Nice play by Combat to get the knock as he finishes off a kill for Conqueror. I kind of don't get why Nasr was there, to be fair. Why Escobar was there on his own. They done such a good job as obviously pushing back and getting rid of Destiny that they didn't need to take a risk of being separated. They've done a good job already. Lazarus off the back of taking down our GSD, moving away from Al-Azhar, getting relatively deep into the circle, stopping by La Bendita crater. Bit of a risk, but luckily nobody is there, so they will move into a position quite safely. Few teams yet to really start to move in out of the blue, to be fair, in this phase on. Raad, Galaxy Racers, GODSENT. Plenty of space on the edge of the circle between Hacienda and Chumacera, where GODSENT could go, but it seems like they're heading in the direction of going a little bit more south. PANDA! That's spread with 2 players in the circle, 2 still in Valdemar. Raucus, the newest member of PANDA, joined the team to provide a strong level of in-game experience at a major competitive level. He previously has played in the PMGC. He's played in North America region for Lazarus in the previous PMPL. So he does come with a wealth of knowledge that hopefully can be passed on to the PANDA boys in due time and will help them achieve greater success as we, of course, head towards PMPL ball split. Phase 2 pops up, and it's a hard shift down to southeast. A good 15% of this water is out of this circle is kind of out of bounds, although a tiny island off of Puerto Priso is still in play. The evil inside me starts to think, could we see a phase 3 shift towards there and we could have a tiny island finish? That would be quite monstrous. Fate are given a bit of time to disengage away from Los Leones off the back of that shift. It was probably the best kind of shift that they could have asked for, because not too many teams was to, rotated to the south of Los Leones. They all rotated to either the east, north, or the west. So they have that automatic kind of space in front of them where they're able to move around. See one of the Conqueror players knocked down by Passion Fruit under the northern edge of Los Leones. A great high ground position to hold on to, where they're able to even somewhat gatekeep a couple of teams or players rotating around him. Still Swave is left on his own. One of the Nova players, YDD, I believe, does get a knock. Down to a little bit of health, pulls off a first aid. Will he disengage and join up with the rest of his team? No, it seems like one of the Nova players are getting close by. C25, X9, Triple, and Raad having a bit of a connection with each other. I believe outside of the circle, but not quite in the blue. I tempted to check it out, but I want to see what Zfan is going to do. And it seems like he's enabling his teammate to move away. Okay, so let's keep an eye on what's going on between Raad and 25x 9 Triple. Just Ali left on his own. Raad really doing a good job of punishing and really battering the body advantage they have in this area. If Sadat can get revived, that would be quite valuable to their push coming in, as UDR going to get close to the Fate boys and knock one of them off their perch, allow another knock to come through, and Ragnarok is burnt to a crisp with Molly inside that tiny shack. Into the smoke he goes, but Sebi, Ulysses, Sandro pushing in. Ragnarok does get a first aid off. He tries to pull it off, but it doesn't work out in the end, and UDR do get the better of the majority of Fate and just Esau left standing. GODSENT and PANDA coming together, clashing outside, and they do take advantage of what is a very heavily disconnected rotation from PANDA. In my opinion, that shouldn't be the case in any circumstance. You don't presume that you have control as a split push on the south side of the map unless you are the second Miramar in and you've done a VOD review of the first Miramar game, or you've experienced that in the first Miramar game. When you're talking about the first game of the day and the first Miramar game of the day, you are much better off adapting your decision as a team, as an IGL, to be more together as a unit, even if it is at the cost of some form of control on a rotation. Well, not even a control on a rotation, because yeah, it was a rotation. There was no need for them to be so heavily split. There's no point in having an anchor player there if the rest of the team can't follow up in due time. 25x triple 9 with a very deep rotation. They were in a... Is that 25x triple 9? Yeah, it is. It is. So who was it that I was pointing out that was triple? Was it someone else? Okay, I might have gotten a team name wrong. My apologies if I did. Yikes. Oh well. Yalla going for interesting rotation through Los Leones as a city. I don't agree with it, to be honest. I really think that is putting all their eggs in one basket. We'll have to wait and see where Phase 3 pops up. The best thing they can hope for, honestly, is that Phase 3 shifts down to southeast. Because if it shifts up kind of northwest or even north or to the west, they're going to find it impossible on Phase 4 to move away from Los Leones should it move out of the city, which it most likely will. Ah, triple. Okay, Team 16. Ah, QALYA AKRE triples. See, my bad. I was calling this team 25x9 triple. That's my massive mistake. This is QALYA AKRE triples. A different team. I shall not make that mistake again. My first time casting these two teams. So I will forgive myself for that one. I hope you all will too. Nova with still a very sweeping spread. I know it's what Nova like to do. They do like to spread themselves out. They have that kind of mentality of confidence and really control of a circle. Risky because they're in the center of Phase 2, and I think they recognize that as Phase 3 is popped up and it does centralize. And this is where I worry for Yalla, because yeah, okay, they've been able to move closer to the edge of the city, but I can't see them getting into the late game from where they do currently hold on to. I see UDR with a much better spot despite Sandro getting knocked by Ida. Nova with a 2-2 split. Lazarus also looking quite healthy. GODSENT with a sweeping rotation off the back of taking down 2 of the Panda members, utilizing that clear southern half of these first 3 circles. And Lions doing something similar, but a bit slower because they're down to 2 players. We were meant to have live scoring for today. Fortunately, it's not possible before justifiable circumstances, which I won't go into at the moment. There's no need to, but just know the reasons are clear as GODSENT push in a little bit blind. They instantly suffer a double knock between the players on the back line and the players on the front line. It is returned as Fears goes down. Psycho has to do a fantastic job of trying to turn this around. Technically, they have the advantage of ping, and I don't often mention that, but I think it's kind of important in a compound fight where pre-firing is very valuable. And I'm at a point where I don't think that GODSENT should go for any kind of revive. Great play by Psycho as Lubomir did have to back off a bit, but now he's more heavily disconnected. So Fito has been knocked down, so it is up to a 2-2 to be fair. And that's really healthy. Lazarus going up against GODSENT. North America against CIS. Joey and Telly in the A-Long building. Lots of little rooms and nooks and crannies and windows that you're able to grab a bit of information from. I believe a Molly nearly took Joey down, but a first aid will keep him going. This has given opportunity to Psycho on getting the double revive to keep GODSENT as a full squad. That is big brain. I was thinking they shouldn't do that, but it made sense, right? They'd gotten 1 kill, 1 knock in the backline secured. They know that Lazarus are slowed down, they're a little bit beaten, and now as they go for the wraparound, nice shots by Lubomir to allow the rest of GODSENT to join up. Telly has to back off, but he does survive for the time being. Joey's knocked down, Telly can do nothing, and he gets taken down. GODSENT come out on top, the CIS side winning that one out. It wasn't the prettiest of starts for GODSENT, but that sweet turnaround to composure, I'm quite impressed. I haven't really seen that from GODSENT up until this point, at least recently when I kind of look at previous tournaments in the past. Phase 4 did shift away from Los Leones. Credit to Yalla, they're still on the very edge and they've been able to stay together, and I kind of give them credit for that. Still not a fan of how they did rotate into Los Leones, but maybe because it was unorthodox, nobody was expecting it, therefore they weren't looking at them. That's the one thing I can think of. Snipers coming in kind of late-ish, but still with a clear area around them. A good 2-2 split, but they have to focus on one team at once, I feel. If they spread themselves apart too much, and if they take on too many fights at once as a 2-2, that could be their undoing. Yes, UDR are down to 3 players, but they are quite experienced in this Miramar map, in this harsh, open, desert terrain. Sebi spraying up. Uh-oh, back off. You missed the shots initially. Now reposition. He does that. Loads that vehicle up to give himself some hard cover. Nova still up. Joined together as a bit of a 3-1 spread, I would say. YDD more on the front line looking up the hill towards snipers. Galaxy Racer Celts lost a Freak, but still have 3 players up. Lord, Roof, and Hamodi. Raad doing something similar to Yalla, only in a much later circle. Therefore, a much worse decision. Yes, they can kind of back off, and if anything, go around the blue on phase 5. But it's not ideal. The Nasr is a trio. What the hell is that? sorry, but that's a big F. But they realize they have to do something. And they take the shots on the Yalla. Bandar's down to a good 75% health. Grenade flies up. It nearly connects onto that one. Barthika has to fire one back in return just to try and create some further space. Nabo on an off angle could be the difference maker for Nasr. Yes, he's not going to be able to join up because of the open flap terrain between himself and his teammates. But unless Yusuf covers that side, Nabo does have that level of control. But now as another team joins in, Raad, they're going to get punished by both Nova and Yalla alike. Yusuf finds a kill. Good stuff. Separated as Disha is further back and Bandar is low. It has been knocked down and Nabos does join up from the open. Come on, Yalla, get it together. Powerful. No, he's not looking too powerful right now as he's instantly knocked down. Yusuf. Bandar comes in. Lovely pre-fire shots for Nabo. You don't overextend the corner like that, Bandar. If you're going to look to get information, to get an engagement, you hug the side. Yusuf left on his own. He gets taken down. Nasr do finish Yalla off. I might have criticized Nasr's push like that, but they turn it around and deserve those kills. Not enough focus, not enough shutdown from Yalla allowed Nasr to find their bones, find their feet, find their focus, and come out on top. Passion Fruit will now have to move in on towards this phase 5 from outside the circle to the inside western edge. There's not that much in front of them, but their North American counterparts are probably the biggest team gatekeeping them right now. The high ground edge could allow Passion Fruit to at least trickle in meter by meter and get some information. You can see Hardman is doing that on the front line while the players further back look to cover behind and to the sides. So there's a cheeky solo player, Sniper Rosa, in the mix that could be a bit of a backstab, a thorn in the side for Passion Fruit's push to claim this game 1 chicken dinner, while GODSENT on 6 kills hold on to the east as a full squad. phase 6 about to pop up and it shifts towards the Nova boys inside the compound. The comfort of the buildings, many floors, much control. Look at it all around them as they have it. The grasp of this game 1 in their hands. Should they now commit to a 3-1 split? Have 3 players on one side of the road, 1 on the other? Are they giving too much over? Or do they have what it takes to defend and push the team back? GODSENT makes it to the edge of the cliffside. The first team to push in from the outside of the circle to the end. One of their players is kept on the outside. I really like this from GODSENT. It's a strategy we see often from teams, and they're looking to pull it off right here, right now. They can't stop. They have to continue to push in and wake up as alliances, a duo. Pick up a kill and take out Panda. Just the last player of Conqueror beside them. Ruder and Headache. As well as the fact that he will have to move into the circle as the blue zone will start closing in the next 15 seconds. 12 is knocked down. Sleepless Lotus. And Hardman still together. Rosa, I said, might be the thorn in his side, and indeed it's the case as he gets another knock onto Passion Fruit. Lotus is knocked down this time. Rosa has the prone back. The shots are being clapped back and it's slowing Passion Fruit down. If first aid is pulled off, he's going to move away. Brisk and swiftly on towards the high ground. 12 is knocked down. Rosa isn't going to stop anytime soon. He gets taken down by Hardman. And revenge is sweet, but it's really her Passion Fruit's chance to do anything, and indeed they're taken down. GODSENT have not pushed into the compound. The circle shifts away from the buildings. No, we do still have the advantage, but we're down to our final 4 teams. Alliance being swiped off from the top of the hill. Ruder goes down. Headache's left on his own. Nowhere dealing with Nasr. That's them out for the count. 3 teams left up. GODSENT Alliance and Nova. But this game is surely going to come down to two giants in two respectively different regions. Nova for NA, GODSENT for CIS. Are they forgetting about Alliance too early? Nuggets gets knocked on the rotation with the buggy. Psycho makes it across, but doesn't stop the shots being fired up by Rin. You don't move around or move out unless you know you have the support to really punish a team being baited by that rotation. It should have been only one of the GODSENT players in my eyes. Memory's knocked down. It's 3v3v1. Well, technically 3v4v1, but with Memory knocked down, he's out of action for the time being. This could be wonderful for Headache, because GODSENT haven't dealt with them. It was only a knock and a kill on the router. They should know this by now. Now Lubomir is going to send it across the tires of the buggy. Nearly burnt out. He takes a lot of damage. It was a risk, but I don't think it was a risk worth taking. Headache tries to make some noise. He does get a knock onto Shalas. But Lubomir survives. And now with a sliver of health, he's going to forget about his teammate. And as he backs away, Nova realizes that they have control. They're going to be able to take advantage. And Psycho, he's left on his own. 3v1 in the favor of Nova. NA on top in this game 1 of the War of Myth West Finals. First game of these finals. And it is Rin punishing Psycho. Little bit of health on board. Memory supporting him. Rin looks for the drop shot. Does make it work out in the end. And that's going to be GODSENT taken out. And that is Nova Esports NA with your first chicken dinner of the day. In the humble desert mountain of Miramar, it was Nova with an early rotation to the south eastern hills of Los Leones that I said was a great spot to hold on to, and nobody really challenged them. They were constantly adaptive on those circles. They went from a 4-man spread to 2 spread. They were always moving, and it does beg the question, did other people see them? Did they choose not to take shots just because they had their own game plan in mind? Either way, if that was the case, it went firmly in the favor of Nova as they were able to get into the late stages of the game, control the circles, and boom, job done. Dynamite game from the Nova Esports boys. GODSENT had a fairly good result themselves. Second place with 7 kills. It was just the last 2 minutes. It was the real lack of focus of controlling that fight between themselves and Nova. I'm even kind of, taking the last player of Alliance out of the mix with this fight. And, when I really look at it, GODSENT didn't focus enough on doing something. They did get a knock into Memory, right? And that was great. And that allowed them to have a bit of a clean 3v3 fight. And they should have known that there was a third team because of the amount of players that were left in the lobby. Maybe they thought they had gotten rid of Alliance. I don't know. But again, a knock and a kill is not a squad wipe. Maybe he didn't think that the last player of Alliance was there, right? I can only speculate, but I do think that they didn't focus enough on one fight at a time and didn't really look to control the late game and got punished for, picked apart between the last player of Alliance and the eventual winners, Nova. Alliance losing 2 players early on, able to turn that into a third. Resilience personified, cannot argue with that one. Nasr coming in 4th. I was impressed with them, to be fair. The fights with Destiny, the fight with Yalla, they did deserve that 4th place. Healthy with a total of 9 kills. Happy days. Conqueror only starting as a duo, similar pathline to Alliance, only they started with 2 people not having 4 and losing 2 early on. They got 5th place, 3 kills. Combat getting those 3. Passion Fruit in 6th. Unfortunately, it was the last player snipers waiting to snipe down and smite the passion players one by one, and he certainly did that effectively, ending Passion Fruit's ability to do anything on the edge of the circle against the likes of GODSENT, Alliance, even kind of Nova, for example. Still 5 kills for Passion Fruit, but yeah, could have been better. Snipers with 7th and 3rd. You had PANDA in 8th with 2 kills. Raad in 9th with 2 kills. You had Galaxy Racers in 10th with 0 kills, surprisingly. Fate in 11th with 0 kills. UDR Killers in 12th with 5 kills. You had Yalla in 13th with 1 kill. Destiny in 14th with 0 kills. 25x9 triple with 1 kill. You had QALYA, AKRE triples in 16th with 2 kills. Got it right on the standings. Lazarus in 17th with 4 kills. And GSG, Arab GSG should I say, in 18th with 0 kills. Good game 1. A bit more action than I kind of thought for the early parts of the game, but I didn't take into consideration the fact that hot drops might occur. So it did kind of catch me off surprise. Will we see something similar in game 2? We're going to be heading over to Sandhawk, smaller map. It's tighter. Teams are going to be more heavily packed together. It's sure as hell going to be an action-packed game. Don't go away. I'm going to go for a break. My name's Imperium. I will be back on your screens in a few minutes for game 2 in these finals. Well, hello, and I am back. Welcome, your beautiful faces, to the War of Myth West Finals Day 1 with myself, Imperium. And the good thing is, as I look to just turn this music down a little bit more. There you go. I'm gonna have scores for you guys. Let me just add a scene, scores, because the organizers, credit to them, have done a wonderful job of having stuff ready for me. Let me just put this in the right thing, fit the screen. This should be okay. Let me see. Fine, if not, I'll just show this. Yeah, I'll put this. There you go. Okay. Boom. I do things on the fly here with myself sometimes, but boom, there you go. Moving over to showing you the overall standings after game 1, and you know, obviously things will change, etc, etc, etc. Nova Esports with all those kills and placement points, 28 in total for that game 1. GODSENT on 19, so they already have a 9-point lead over Nova, right? Nasr in 3rd with 17 points, Alliance in 4th with 15, Conqueror Europe in 5th with 9. So top 4 having double digits is definitely nothing to be sniffed at. And then it does go all the way down from there. So that's after the first game. Most notably, Nova were the only team to get double digit kill points. So I'm going to be kind of obviously keeping an eye on that. Nova are generally quite an aggressive team. So on the hand, I'm kind of not surprised. They do tend to lean more towards kills and placement points from watching them in past tournaments in North America. I thought that might in some way have been slowed down because they're in a different region and the ping is higher. That doesn't seem to be the case. Well, either way, we are into game number 2 of the day. It's on Sanhok. It's game 2 out of 3 in total. Oh, I just realized that I have the wrong match tag. I also realized that I meant to group these bad boys over. My apologies. I meant to move these bad boys over. There you go. Bingo. Should be much better. Yep. Cool. Match 2 out of 3, we're in Sanhok. Now, what kind of hot drops do we have? Nobody's dropped on Yalla and Boot Camp. But maybe QALYA, AKRE triples could be going there, but not quite the case. 25x9 triple, not even going to Paradise. Raad could be going there. Ali of QALYA, AKRE triples going way further away from the rest of his team. Don't know what happened there. Alliance on the eastern side, GSG, UDR killers and Kampong. That's pretty normal stuff. But Camp Charlie, there you go. Fate and Lazarus. Oh, okay. No. Okay. Whoa. Galaxy Racers and Panda going up against each other outside of Sami. Brocus, it seems like, got a knock onto one of the Galaxy players. Lord is further back, so there's a separation there. Freak probably isn't going to have the opportunity to get the revive on the Hamodi, so he's realistically on his own. Tough buildings to play around, to be fair, because even when you walk outside, you have the underside part, which is exposing you, and boom. That's going to be GK, the first getting the knock. PZ confirming that kill. Another one bites the dust, and Lord is left on his own. Now let's switch over to this fight between Lazarus and Fate. inside Camp Charlie. Both teams hold on to a corner. So it's like, in the purple corner, weighing in at 210 pounds, coming from North America. They are the Think Pink, the Myth, the Myth, the Lazarus legends. And in the brown corner, you have the Beasts, the Slayers, the team that are putting fate in their hands. It is fate. Does that sound cool? Lord gets spot out, by the way, so that's Galaxy Racers out of this game. Now, it's still a full squad for Fate, to be fair, but Isawi is further back, so that's where, out of the two teams, despite them not really knowing about it, two teams that should be looking to engage, it's Lazarus, because they have their full squad together, but I don't know if they know that Isawi is further away, so that uncertainty could lead them to presume that the full squad from Fate is in Camp Charlie with them. Phase 1 is a pretty standard Sandhawk Phase 1 circle. You have all of the islands encapsulated predominantly towards the southwest. Nova taking a bit of an engagement, I believe, towards the members of MXR, who are left with just one, RZEN on his own. Sponsor team in this finals. Bit of a cluster though on the kind of north side of the mainland. It's going to be quite difficult for 25x9 triple, I feel. Things opening up between Lazarus and Fate. Isawi does join up and is able to capture the advantage against Lazarus. Joey, my apologies. Joey being found out by Isawi, and now body advantage goes over into the favor of Fate, and they're going to look to capitalize on that. Still Isawi further back, but I'd recommend that there you go, wraps around on the right hand side and could do a wonderful job of going onto those high ground buildings and catching Lazarus out. Venom, Lath, Ragnarok do need to take their time and wait for Isawi to get closer by, so that advantage can come through, and that suppression, the blanket across the Camp Charlie buildings, can work out in their favor. Lazarus slowly but surely looking for a disengagement. Sometimes when you are too brash on a disengagement, you can get caught out, so kind of taking your time, going from building to building, moving swiftly, can often be the safest thing to do. It seems like Safito might be staying there to provide a bit of information, while Fears and Joey ekes closer to the northern edge of the poor man's boot camp. All the while, it has allowed Isawi to join up, indeed, Ragnarok by his side, as they look for a bit of a 2-1-1, or if anything, a 3-1 spread as an engagement, but it's Isawi leading the way. Is he going in a little bit too deep? He could be. Ragnarok isn't as by his side as I thought. Shots have been fired up by both sides. You do see snipers and UDR in the feed starting to make their own engagement. Teddy has been able to move away and could pull off a bit of a high ground peek onto Fate players and catch them off guard a bit, but Ragnarok, Isawi sticking together like glue as a grenade is being cooked up. I think Fears is aware of that and is moving around. Now it's Venom joining in on mix, so it's Lath that's left on his own on towards the sidelines. Let's have a bit of an overview. Lovely nade by Isawi to connect onto Fears. Safito, all on her lonesome. Has to do a lot to hold back the players from Fate. Does get a couple of shots on the Venom. The drop shot doesn't quite connect up. Safito is going to go back into the building. Wraps around, turns in, and gets taken out. Fortunately, couldn't confirm the kill, and Telly can do nothing other than either stay and take the fight or back off and try and disengage. It could be too late to disengage. He might be forced to take disengagement, and I can't see the members of Lazarus surviving too much longer. Yalla picking up Kilinishi. An early disengagement away from boot camp does allow them to put a continued amount of pressure onto QALYA AKRE triples. By the way, I hope I'm saying that name right, to be fair. Raad coming in from that kind of mainland area. I think it was around the kind of north of quarry region or in the middle of the map. And they're shifting up Boot Camp Hill. Sees powerful on the roof of the building. Catches a couple of shots in his direction, but nothing that connects. And Yalla will be alerted. Sorry, I had to mute there for a sec. I have something in my throat and it's giving me a bit of a tickle of a cough. Bit of a dry cough, but it should be good. Yalla are massively separated. It's both a good thing and a bad thing, right? It's a good thing because now it is going to be able to get a bit of a surprise angle up towards the hill where Raad are currently located. But on the other hand, if one player gets knocked, it's most likely going to be the case where they can't get revived. You can see that Youssef is the one that's really under the biggest amount of pressure for the time being. Grenade goes in his direction. Well, 2 grenades and does put him down a little bit. Bandar is found. Dilap doing a great job. Ada coming in on the other side. This could be the reason why Yalla come out on top in this fight. If Ada can nail this one perfectly, he does find it. His position has been compromised, but that could be enough of a shake-up to distract the Raad players. He catches another one. Sadat is on a little bit of health. Ada coming out on top of that one. Switches, gun to the M4. Up the sniper tower. The teammates of Raad are there for the taking. Ada was taking a major risk. And all the while, Delap comes in to clear out the other side. And Yalla are taken out. 2 games, 2 fights lost. Not looking good for Yalla. They impressed me in PMWI. They really did. They really, really did. But right now, they're looking a shadow of their former selves. GODSENT and CONQUEROR fighting up towards Hating as he is left on his own. If he can get the revive onto CONQUEROR, that could be pretty good for the CONQUEROR boys. But when you look at where GODSENT are located in terms of as a spread, yeah, I can't see CONQUEROR. Yeah, there you go. Another knock lays in. Squad wipe is being pulled through, and sweeping angles from GODSENT allow them to clear up the squad wipe and move on. They'll get the revive and stick together as a full squad. Nova wants to get into the center of this phase 1, a little bit similar to game 1. Should work out in their favor. UDR, the Spanish giants of PUBG Mobile, going up against the fresh, I would call them the fresh faces of CIS, the young guns, the young blood, the, you know, massively dark horses as well. Like, they were a team that were expected to qualify for the EMEA championships right from the PMPL CIS. It wasn't the case, but I know they can do it. More experience under their belt, and they'll be able to pull it off coming into the fall split. And this fight has certainly been pulled off in their favor. Is just Headache knocked down, will get revived up in the edge of the previous circle. They come out on top. Phase 2 split shifts up. It does center quite nicely. Still all 3 islands in play, but for the most part, it does look to be heading towards that southwest island. The majority of that phase 2 is in that direction. Passion fruit with the botation. Let's go. I am a big fan of that one. I'm a big fan of passion fruit's botation. Is it too late? Is it too much of a risk? I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. Snipers and 25x9 triple. I don't know why they're fighting in the blue, Sandhawk. Just, to me, just doesn't make sense. I consider that tier 2 play. Sorry, but I do. Hanging in the blue on your own as a team is a strategy that can work in Sandhawk when you're phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. We've seen quite a few teams pull it off. But fighting in the blue, phase 1, heading into phase 2, makes sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me, and sometimes I've got to be a little bit harsh in that regard. Lions using the high grounded cave to get some information as they'll look to enter this phase 2. Slow down a little bit by their engagement with UDR means that the risk of them coming across a team towards the edge of the circle is a lot more viable. Raad moved from boot camp area to the southwest island on the inside by the bridge. Not too deep. I really like that rotation from Raad, because it's still a great compound because they have either side of the road, but it wasn't too far away from their previous spot where they're going in blind. They were able to get a bit of information towards this compound and then use that to move in, trickle on phase 3. Really solid stuff from Raad. Great decision making from this team over the first 2 games so far. Recognize. So I can recognize Destiny Swave getting a knock onto one of the passion fruit players from a distance. He pushes forward with the vehicle on towards the coastline to grab some vital information. The revive should get pulled off as Lotus, Hardman, 12 and Sleepless are close together. Just wants to make sure that the revive doesn't get pulled out in a compromising position and another player goes down. Respectful stuff. Of course, that's still allowing Destiny to create a blanket formation around passion fruit, but as phase 3 pops up, Destiny are the team that technically could be closer to the edge of the circle upon this next shift. We'll have to wait and see. The Lions did move away from Cave, which I don't agree with. You're in the blue for phase 2 as phase 3 pops up. Snipers on one side of them, 25x triple on the other side. It's a big shift up north. Puts a bit of pressure on the passion fruit players upon that rotation, and it is a kind shift for Destiny considering they potentially could have been further away from this circle. Great for Nova, great for Raad, great for GODSENT as well. They can shift down from the mountainside through the warehouse, through the buildings, onto the trifecta compound, and they are done and dusted. I'd love to see Nasr rock through Painan and hold on to the very northwestern edge of Painan. I really think that would be a great place to hold on to. You do not, in my opinion, want to go into ruins. That is an area that you really don't want to be. You can wrap around, but going inside it is a big risk you partake. If it wasn't one European team putting passion fruit under pressure in this game too, it's another one as Panda join in on the mix. Already on 7 kills in this one. Feeling quite confident in the jungle terrain as Sandhawk. Hardman is by the logging cabins will get taken out, and that is them out. Passion fruit. I like the botation. Didn't work out otherwise. That's all that. Destiny using their position closer to the edge of the circle initially to wrap around via the northwestern edge. The bridge to the northwest island close by. It's important that they do get as much information as possible towards that northwestern island. They don't know what could be there. I think they're very confident nobody's in ruins, because who the absolute freaking hell wants to be there? You don't. Fate are forced to be the bridge trolls upon a later rotation off the back of taking down Lazarus and Camp Charney. I still think they could have ended up in a better spot, to be honest. But I think they were pushed back a little bit by Nova and it forced them to play on the underside of Painan and hold on to this bridge. Raad, great spot, but still have to be considered. You have Nova on the high ground above them, and you do still have Fate in a good spot. Nasr, still on that mainland area. Glass player, snipers, best place to be is a building for him, and he's going to play that on the edge of the circle. GODSENT with a very big island spread, and although they are watching that northwest island, I'm pretty sure that they can. I'm pretty sure that they are confident that nobody is going to be coming. Never presume. So getting information like Nuggets is perfect, while the rest of the team look more towards the ruins area. But that is a beautiful single man spread by GODSENT. Like, that line that's created by them is perfect coming into the next phase, and it centers up quite nicely. It is going to be a Southwest Island finish. Tricky enough, Ruins is still in play, and no, still don't go into Ruins. No, just don't go into Ruins. 12 teams, 36 players left up. Will Nova be able to deal with the potential of onslaught of teams coming in from the edge of the circle? How are Raad going to deal with both Fate, Nasr, possibly another team joining in on the mix? GODSENT perfectly pulled off to start off against Destiny. Beast knocked down. Mihi times and Sway further back. They might be better off cutting their losses and moving into Gulp Ruins. I don't agree with it, but I would understand why they would choose to do that. Either way, the smokes go out. The Beast crawls to his teammate, although the revive is getting pulled off. Not enough! And he's taken out by the pickles of a nade being thrown out by GODSENT. Alliance, interesting rotation being pulled through on towards this southeastern edge of the circle. Nova, Zfan knocking down Ruder. I would say that's a product of a maybe later rotation coming into the circle. The spread is going to work out for the time being, as Discrim is beside both those players, but Discrim gets knocked by Rokus, should I say. Rokus in return is knocked by Sunrise. Not confirmed. Not gone, certainly not forgotten, as the rest of Panda will look to hold Sunrise back. At the end of the day, Rokus is their anchor point into this circle, so it's important that they in some way, shape or form keep him alive, or at least make sure he's not confirmed. GK First will pull that push off with the buggy to get close by. Switching over to Raad, as they do have Fate much closer by, holding on to the very edge of the circle. The Fate boys, still the bridge trolls, have a bit of low ground in their favor. Time's ticking down as Alliance and GSG start to connect. GSG coming in rather late, and that's gonna leave them suffering massively. 25x9 triple, the last player up. Heroes fires a grenade in the direction of Rin. He will be alert of that. Still the line held onto by GODSENT as a full man squad. Definitely closer together in a cleaner 2-2 line as the circle shifts down south into the direction of Nova. The lifeblood winners of this game one could be looking pretty good for a game 2 win. A cheap kill was picked up by the 25x9 solo player, but revenge is definitely served nicely by the Nova boys as they do clean him up. Panda and Alliance are going to slow each other down between the blue and the edge of the circle. It is Alliance that for the most part has the advantage. Sunrise on the GK First pushes PZ back. Rokus was revived up, so he'll be able to do something. the Lithuanian legend, uses the rocks of the cliffs of ruins to his advantage to try and get a bit of a peek off angle. Lynn knocks down Headache, and this Rokas feels a little bit more confident of pushing forward with the ump in his hands. The damage is being dealt up. Ruder only survived by the smoke, the rock, and he comes in on the side, and beautiful teamwork by Panda. Absolutely beautiful. That shouldn't have been a win for Panda, I feel. However, Alliance, they lose their bones, they lose their might, and Panda will come out on top of that one. 7 teams left. GODSENT still with that spread, this time shifting from the coastline to a northeastern edge of the circle. Raad have to shift away from the buildings. Were they a bit slow? Have they not been controlling enough on the high ground? GODSENT should be able to get the better of him. Not spot out for the time being. Psycho still in the blue. The next circle pops up. It does shift towards Nova. Reno 99 taken down. Great play by by one of the GODSENT players. And Desha 999 is the last player up. 11 first aids to his name. Looks like it's going to be a heel strap being played off by Raad, as Destiny do indeed play towards runes, and they're making it work for them. Only 1 kill, but they are in the edge. Me, the IGL, pulls that one off. 7 teams still coming in. Ragnarok make that 6. He goes down. The end of them. Fate, should I say. There you go. Good job, Imperium. You remember the team's name, you absolute mongoose. Panda's a full man team. They're known to be good in Sanhok, so I really shouldn't be surprised. 2 teams who are known to be very good in Sanhok are in the final 6. That is Destiny and that is Panda. Knock comes through. Me, he's knocked down. He's confirmed up by GODSENT. That's going to be Nova going up against Panda. Rokas with an A being cooked up. Gonna look to trickle in on the side. It does connect up, and that is Nova taken out. Marco from Snipers has laid down in the quiet of the night by the grass, getting his team into the top 5. Now as he makes some noise, he's unable to punish Panda on their distraction against Nova. And Lane on the side. GK first is gonna push in and fire up a grenade towards Marco. And there you go. Rokas gets there first. Haha, you snooze, you lose, GK. I'll be faster than that. Top 4 teams left in this game. You have Raad, the final player, healing up in the blue. So you got the final 3 teams in the circle, and they're all EU West based. GODSENT from CIS, Panda from EU West, and Destiny from EU West, from Germany, more specifically. Panda do have to move away from these buildings into the circle, but 14 kills for Panda. By God, do they deserve this win if they get it. You've gotten this far, you've dominated the lobby, you've broken and beaten down player after player, team after team. It all started with Passion Fruit, and since then it's been a rock and rolling game for the Panda side. But can they close it out? Typical 3-way dance. All 3 teams in the edge of the circle. The low ground dip does give GODSENT an element of control, but not before Lynn spots out Lubomir, knocks him down. And Chalas is left on his own. Circle shifts on phase 8 towards both Destiny and Panda. Desha takes him out. Raad gets his team. Should I say Desha gets his team Raad into the top 4 with the heal strat. Panda focused more objectively on the final player of GODSENT. That makes sense. But Destiny, you gotta recognize when you have a chance to use that distraction to your advantage. They look to do it. Times did take a couple of shots off, but they don't connect. Swave, the man, the myth, the legend, the jack of all trades, master of all. Such a fan of Swave. over the last year and a half, I've seen this guy rise through the ranks, tournament after tournament, experience after experience, to become one of the best players in Europe. Still has a lot to prove, of course, but there's no doubt he is indeed a fantastic player from all sides, but he does get knocked down and times is left on his own. Your time is up, my time is now. Can he be seen? Will he just be another John Cena wannabe? Panda, they may be low in health, but they do have the numbers to play around, and in through the smoke he trickles out. Time gets taken out, and that's gonna be Panda taking game 2 in Sandhawk with a massive kill count of 12, 14, 18 kills with that chicken dinner. That is 33 points. Insane. Absolutely insane from Panda in this game 2 out of 3. Like, magnificent. Fully deserved. Wholeheartedly bang on result from them. So good. Destiny did adapt quite well to what was some solid rotations on that kind of coastal southwest island line. When they lost a player at the hands of GODSENT, they slowed it down a little bit more, and as the circles shifted a bit down south, that little bit of edge of ruins that I normally wouldn't recommend, I did for Destiny, and they did that, and it got them into second. I'm all for that. There's a time and a place for runes position to be used to your advantage, and that was indeed a time and place. GODSENT in 3rd place. As you scroll down, of course, we will look to give you an updated scores before this final game of the day to give you an idea. It's day 1 of 3, still 2 more days to go. Of course, tomorrow and Wednesday there'll be more games, same time, same place. Was game 2 results. Nova maybe probably the biggest losers of that game in the fact that they had a great level of control for a lot of the game in towards that hillside, but maybe they didn't form together as a unit early enough so that they could be aggressively controlling, and instead they relied on maybe individual control, and that ended up getting the better of them. When Panda crashed as a full squad, they were able to take down, I think it was either 2 or 3 man Nova team at that point. I'm inclined to say 2 man. Apologies if I get that wrong. Raad, once again, consistency personified, to be fair. Consistency personified. Actually, sorry, no, not consistency. Okay, I spoke too soon. My apologies. Raad got 11th in the first game. I was thinking of Nasr. Apologies. Snipers coming up in 5th place. A good amount of kills for Raad, by the way, all the time. A good amount of kills, 7 kills for now. Snipers in 5th, Nova in 6th. Off the back of a fantastic game 1, it's still not the worst result, but individually, I do see where it could have gone better for them. Fade in 7th, Lions in 8th. A good amount of kills for the CAS side, but maybe that cave position, not moving into a circle on phase 2 early enough, put them just that kind of domino effect that can be the case, hurt them when it came to that kind of southwest position of I think it was phase 4, and Panda really got the better of them. They did have a good spot, and that fight in itself against Panda I thought was a bit weird, how it kind of went so aggressively against them. It is what it is. Those things can happen. They'll know themselves where they need to work on and learn, and of course build into the future. At the end of the day, these kind of tournaments are a way of giving these teams an opportunity to practice more heavily in a more competitive way for their upcoming PLs and PMCOs, right? And that is one of the great things about me casting these, is it gives me good practice as a caster and what these teams are leaning towards, how they're progressing over the next couple of months and how they've progressed from a couple of months ago, right? Some teams have new players, some teams have completely new rosters. Absolutely love it. Well, I'm gonna go for a break, rest my voice a little bit, get a bit of a drink. Don't go away, last game is gonna be on Erangel, the Hollow Grounds where it all began. See you guys in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the War of Myths West Finals Day 1. We're heading into the final game of the day. We've had 2 games already. Game 1 was won by Nova Esports NA in Miramar. Game 2 in Sandhawk, we've just seen, if you're watching, was won by PANDA. Fantastic, glorious 18 kill chicken dinner. As we head into game 3, the overall standings for this game 1 are certainly starting to heat up. I do have the overall standings. Let me just update them. I do need to do. Go. Okay. That it? Is that it? Is that it? Yes, indeed it is. Let's have a look at the overall standings. In first place, it's still Nova Esports on 40 points, but 2 consistent games from GODSENT. 12 placement points, 10 placement points in the first 2 games, followed by 7 and 8 kills, respectively. 37 in total. But PANDA, with the guts of those points that they have in total secured in game 2, has shot them up the standings in the 3rd place. Alliance in 4th. First game was 10 placements, 5 kill points. Game 2 was 1 placement, 10 kill points. So overall it is a balance of 26 points across the board. Nasr in 5th, Raad in 6th, Destiny in 7th. At the moment, it is kind of the top 3 in their own little bubble. And then you have that 10-point gap with Alliance. I would then kind of leave them on their own for the time being. Nasr in 5th, along with Raad, Destiny, and the Snipers are only like 4 points between each other. And then you have the rest of the teams on single digits. Yet to see Galaxy Racers and Arab GSG kick off their finals of this War of Myth West. Hopefully the final game of the day will allow them to do that. 25x9 triple as well, struggling along with the other North American side, Lazarus. Highest amount of kills so far is held on to by Nova. They're 19 placement points, complementing that quite nicely. It's close. It's close. So I'll be looking out for Nova, GODSENT, and PANDA coming into this final game of the day. I know that much. We're going to be loading into the game soon. Let me know in chat, or let everybody know in chat, who you are supporting in these games. What team you're cheering on for. If you're cheering on for Alliance, if you're cheering on for Nova Esports, if you're cheering on for Nasr, PANDA, whoever it is, let us know. And again, don't forget to share the stream with anyone you can. Get them to tune in and watch some fantastic PUBG Mobile Esports action. The game is loaded in. We're going to be getting into it in the next minute or so. So you won't have to see, once again, my ugly looking face. Self-deprecation is a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. Of course, you can follow me on a side note over on Instagram, if you don't already, at EVT_Imperium. I post a little bit. The odd story here, the odd story there. I love to talk to people, so why not pop me and follow? Give me any kind of feedback on today's games as well. I love knowing if I need to do better in something, what I need to get better at. So if my casting can be better in your eyes, never be afraid of letting me know. The last 10 seconds until we get into this game 3 of the day. We're heading on over to Erangel. I absolutely love this map. Oh boy, let's go. I cannot wait for this game. It's my favorite map for a reason. We're in the game. The playing path is not bad, but it's also not good. Well, actually, no, it is good. Actually, what am I saying? It is good. I'm an idiot. Because it's more diagonal, it's fairly good. It's going to allow teams to get to George Paul areas. Rozhok is open. Yasnaya, Pachinki. It's only if you want to like drop down by Ferry Pier or Primorsk that it really becomes quite difficult. Everywhere else is very, very accessible. Of course, Military Island is going to be tricky, but it's rare Military Island isn't tricky drop-wise. Lots of teams heading towards George Ball Fate, 25x9, Triple, Yalla, GODSENT, all on the South George area. Nobody heading to North George. Alliance and Destiny going to be fighting in Sovereignty. It's going to be a nice little fight to witness. Beast is late to the drop. One of the passion fruit players is with them. Interesting. Nasr ESPORTS dropping by school. Panda with Lazarus and Rozhok is going to be very interesting. Now, Panda feeling confident off the back of a strong game. Would be pretty good. You have UDR Killers going up against Galaxy Racer and Pachinki. I would normally put this to Galaxy Racer, but how they've been performing in the first two games, maybe they're not feeling the most confident in this one, as tickles of engagements are starting to happen. Even Nova and Conqueror engaging as well, as the split drops pay off for some teams and it goes against others. Now the core fights do begin. Teddy is on his own in a 1v2 and just has a shotgun in his hand, low on health. Has to try and use that third person perspective to get a juicy pre-fire shot off, and indeed he does. Rokas is caught out and he's blown up to smithereens with a shotgun blast by Teddy. Starts to give Lazarus the body advantage at least. Now, PZ, Lin, and GK are relatively quite close together. That's something they can work with, but so are multiple Lazarus players. If anything, three of them are a lot more together, so PZ should be able to be focused on a little bit. Switching over to the fight between Galaxy Racer and UDR Killers and Pachinki. Advantage initially to UDR as they play on the roofs. They're down to, I think, 3 players. Sebi, low on health. Nade goes in return. Still in the buildings, Galaxy Racers are. Nothing really left to be said about this for the time being. Switch back over to this fight between Lazarus and... oh my god. Fears on the PZ with a pistol. You just whipped them into smithereens. Oh my god, whipped into a frenzy. Luckily for Panda, GK the first is there to save Grace and Teddy. Yet to really join up, and he's been left on his own. I don't know why he didn't join up on that fight, or whether the whole of Lazarus didn't look to disengage. That seems like a disconnection. You know, they got the initial kill. They had the initial body advantage. Why not use that? They didn't. They overall paid the price. This phase 1 circle is good. It essentially complements the playing path. And there's a lot of strong positions open for the taking. Galaxy Racers do get the better of 3 of the 4 UDR players, and Sebi's left to his own devices. Actually, sorry, it's Sebi and Sandro, but where even is Sandro? Sandro? Okay, Sandro was like way off. Sebi gets knocked down, and yeah. Ugh, it's all gone horribly wrong, as I don't know how Sandro ended up there, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. One of the Conqueror's players goes down to the hands of QALYA, AKRE triples. Still a cluster teams on that western side of the map. For the time being, they're generally respecting each other. Except for Fate, as they burn another player of the 25x9 triple team to crisp. Now just 2 players strong in this final game of the day for that side. The North is a hustle and bustle. Destiny decided to disengage and give Sovereignty over to the CAS guys. I agree with that personally. I am less likely inclined to take that fight, and it's not even out of fear, it's just out of respect and common sense. Not really worth fighting in the early parts of the game. They're better off playing their own looting phase and move into the circle in their own time. MXR in Kameshki, Passion Fruit close by. Nobody went to Yasnaya, so that area is absolutely there for the taking, or at least it becomes an easier rotational path if a team is aware of that. Expecting this to be the quietest early part of the game, and it, for the most part, has been. However, Nova looking to continue the trend of some pretty solid results and hold on to the first place coming into day number 2. It's an early game for the North American side, an early set of games indeed. One of the Nova players gets confirmed up. Rena and Zfan left on their own. Zfan is an absolute beast. I've seen that guy play before. I know what he has in his hands. The level of talent he possesses is pretty big. His intelligence, his awareness, his understanding of how the game works is some of the best in the whole of North America. In pre-firing with the Uzi. He knows he's around there, but he's not 100% certain, so he's kind of pre-firing a couple of trees. He found in the distance looking to get some information and maybe bait the last player of QALYA AKRE triples into the open. And there you go, by the tree he goes, spots him in the distance, shots are fired up, and together they get the final kill onto QALYA AKRE triples, and they are out, the first team to go down in this game. Very interesting rotation for Nasr as they shift into Rozhok. Looks to get the fight against PANDA in their control. They have the high ground to their advantage, but PANDA do have buildings in play. The 4 walls protect them, they just have to peek the windows. But Nasr are going to push in. Nabo first in line. Lin, he should look to cook up a grenade. It's one thing holding onto the walls, but if you don't move away from them quickly, when I say move away, I mean more around them rather than up them. Lin, perfectly played. Ninja is taken down. So is another one of the Nasr players, and all goes horribly wrong for them. I would say that was more to the credit of Panda and how swift they were to react as a team. How well Lin was in terms of how well Lin did, should I say, in terms of not over peaking and moving and making sure that there was really less focus of him getting knocked down into Chico on his own. Who get taken down by Alliance as they move from Severnion towards the coastal line of the north side of the island by the river. Look to get some information, Teddy, from Lazarus. Hoping to stay quiet on the northwestern front of this phase 1. MXR still outside of the circle. Passion Fruit about to start moving in on the northern tip of this phase 1. Destiny also doing something similar outside of shooting range. You already have Beast on board in the Q buildings by the river. Fate still looting up Hospital. Godsent have rotated onto Pachinki Hill. A pretty big rotation from the CS boys. They've had a fantastic day so far. 2 out of 3 consistent results. Well, 2 out of 2 consistent results in terms of placement and kills together. One of the most balanced kill to points ratio acquired by Godsent, despite not getting a chicken dinner. Blue zone of phase 1 is starting to move in. Well, it started moving a while ago. We're nearly at the end of it, to be fair. Our GSG are not in a bad spot. because there's quite a bit of variable in play for them to use the continued coastal line heading towards Ferry Pier as a rotational point on this phase 2 shift. Plus, if it does shift, if it does go majorly down south, which it kind of does, it does, you know, that gives their coastline position a bit more priority and a bit more strength. They're not relying on it though, as they do currently have a 2-2 spread. Nova as a duo are going to be reluctant to play on the open field, so might stick to their current spot, despite it not being the best place to be. Center phase 1. Good 15% of the circle is out of bounds because of the river and the northern tip of Military Island. Something to consider as the landmass is shrunk compared to a normal phase 2. Fate with a later rotation could get punished for it. They're going to stop at least by the hill moving towards Pochinki. Lubomir from GODSENT is kind of aware of that. That's why he sent himself a bit more to the west from where the rest of the team were positioned to get a little bit more information towards the team rotating from the west, because of the amount of teams that did land in around the South George region. They were always going to be familiar with a potential team coming in later than GODSENT's initial rotation, and it makes sense. And he's not making any noise, just providing the information, and that's value in itself. Information is power, and power equals points. A sniper looked to become powerful by punishing the separation of Arab GSG, and it's going to be up to the rest of the Arab GSG boys to do something, but I can't see that happening as a nade comes flying in and Flash is pretty much left on his own in this area. Tries to do something, his teammate does join by, but a knock comes in and Vera is just going to move away. Great play by snipers. They came, they fought, they conquered. Galaxy Racers, interesting to stay in Pochinki. I low-key get it, but I don't. Panda rotate in that direction, and they get one player knocked. Freak is aware of the potential advantage of pushing up, and then they allow absolutely nothing to be done in that region, and a double knock is played out. Freak gets a double kill, and that is wonderful. Lane forced to move out. Couldn't have asked for a better engagement from Galaxy Racers, because when you're holding on to what I regard as a tricky position on the edge of a city that's not even in a strong circle area, you don't want teams clustering around you. And if they had not made noise and allowed Panda to stay on that church area on the next phase, whether or not they had to move to the west or through the east onto the other side of Pochinki, it would have been so much harder to have dealt with. Who's on the phase 2 now, starting to move in. Passion Fruit a bit late, the edge of the circle. Let's see if it goes towards them or against them. Sleepless scouting to get a bit of information coming into the edge of the circle will work for the time being. He's actually on his own, my apologies. But there's more Passion Fruit players. Indeed, that's not the case. Don't know what happened to one of the sniper players, but he ended up taking himself out in some way, shape or form. Galaxy Racers move away from the edge of Pochinki and move into Headshot Hills. See, that makes sense from Galaxy Racers, because there's a lot cleaner rotation potential if the circle either shifts up north, or even if it does go down south and they have to move out of Pochinki. So they're preparing for any kind of phase 3 shift, even if it shifts to the west. To me, that's as good of a position to be in on Headshot Hills as being on the very edge of Pochinki, right? So I like Galaxy Racer Celt's strategy so far in this game, but it's a nice central shift predominantly up north. But Potato Hill is in the center of this phase 3, and it's going to force a few teams to shift away from their current position and go for a bit of a bold rotation. A few compounds in play on the south edge of the circle. Raad going to be one of the first teams to get there. Galaxy Racer Celts moving in on to Panda. The last player. Compound by Headshot Hills. Lynn is on his own. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Believe he's being somewhat spotted. Just 7 first aids. He doesn't know. Pre-nade goes out just in case. Just in case. Lots of just shots being fired up. Lynn has to pre-fire through the open door. Sees one on the window. Very aware of that. That was nice by Lynn. At the end of the day, that would prove to be too much. Member swept in from Galaxy Racers, and that's going to be a team going down. Nice play by Galaxy Racers. Destiny, not the best place to be, but I appreciate it on the edge of Pachinki Field, because they just don't get any information to the north. The only kind of information they get is GODSENT in Pachinki, and that's it. And maybe a little bit to the south. They get absolutely nothing on the Potato Hill. Nothing on the northern side of the circle. However, at the end of the day, short term, there's value to it. MXR, 2 kills so far. Full squad up. Much better game for the sponsor team in this War of Myths West Finals. Day 1 of 3. Today, 3 games per day, 9 in total. Alliance, good kills over the first 2 games, but not the best placing position. I know they're known for their aggression, for their fights, but I'd love to see a much more rounded consistency with late game results. I find it interesting that Reuter did take one of the tires out of his vehicle, considering there's no real security behind their spot in the next circle as the phase 3 blue zone is closing in right 80 minutes into this game. MXR has been spot out. Nice shots by Reuter with the Groza, no less. Over Pete though. Fate takes down the last player of, I believe, 25x9 sniper. Fate still up as a full squad in a much better position by Potato Hill. I get why Alliance have a 2-2 split though, because the building that 2 of their players holds on to is, or the 2 buildings should I say, are not really fit for a full squad. I would prefer 3-1 rather than 2-2, because I don't think they need 2 players out in the open outside the circle. I think 1 is as valuable as 2, because it's all about kind of getting information and provide a level of suppression. I know if one of their players gets knocked, yeah, there's a much higher chance that a revive is going to be pulled off. I just don't think it's needed. Luckily for them, there's not too much pressure from the western side of their current spot. Destiny now forced to kind of move away as phase 4 shifts up north once again. School and apartment still in the circle. Teddy goes down. MXR pick up a kill, and they'll of course get closer to those all elusive placement points. 12 teams left, 37 players alive in this game. Raad maneuvering up Potato Hill. Can't argue with that rotation. Luckily for them, nobody's there. Although I respect the fact that they didn't commit to going over Potato Hill too much. They've kind of stopped. Look to get some potential information. Move. Stop. Rinse. Repeat. Fate, beautiful 2-2 spread. They force snipers to go for a bold rotation down the hill from Potato Hill. They find Nova, or should I say Nova finds them. We're in onto Rossa. That is absolutely wonderful. Nice shots by Z-Fan with the 4x M4 spray. Nice nade in the direction of snipers will leave the clustered team to be punished quite aggressively. He knew that was going to be a nade in the right direction. Another knock comes through, a double knock, and man, just one player snipers left up. That is Laro. And Zyphan makes no mistakes around that area. Beautiful play by the duo. Pre-fire shots. Tickle this, tickle that, tickle a team squad wipe. Just like that. 10 kills. Double digits already for Nova. They might be down to a duo, but they're certainly not taking this for granted and taking it lying down. GODSENT stopped on their disengagement away from Pachinki as they suffer a couple of casualties. Luckily, they're not the only team in that vicinity, so they're able to, for the most part, get the revives off as the focus from Galaxy Racers is on Destiny. A double knockdown onto the German team will allow Galaxy Racers to hold on to some form of control. They are the furthest team away from the edge of this phase 5 circle. 1 minute until the blue zone starts closing in. You do have Fate on top of the hill, bearing down upon all of these teams. Isawi, although he gets a knockdown onto Shalas, Psycho returns the favor. Says, anything you can do, I can do better. Destiny, slow down. They know they have to wait. They know they have to bide their time as Fate, Lath, pulls back to look for some info. The revive was pulled up onto Isawi. That is important. Lath looks to get closer to the edge, so there's not too much, oh, we're not focused on getting into the circle. But if they don't really start to make a move in some way, shape, or form towards either a fight or a rotation, it might not go either way in their direction. Galaxy Racers decide to disengage, and that I can respect. Left with the duo going for a bold move. Cotton, let's see if it pays off. It will pay off for the time being. For the time being, I might add, because this kind of end circle, this kind of position where you have a little bit of a hill here, a little bit of a hill there, small rock here, small rock there, but you're not fully covered from a 360-degree angle. That's where Galaxy Racers suffer stress, suffer pressure by Fate behind them. Just Hamodi left on his own as Fate looking to seal the deal and take down the Galaxy Racers, send them back into space, also known as the lobby. They won't go down without a fight though, Hamodi. He's made them more than that. And he won't give up until the last breath. As Fate do get put under pressure by the blue. Lath has knocked down Venom and Isawi. Just doing what they can. Swave. Oh no. Swave makes it in. Swave is going to get spotted. Unfortunately, he couldn't heal up in time. That's great awareness by Venom. He heard the footsteps. He knew he was close by. He had it just like that. 9 kills, 12 in total, but 9 between the two players of Nova is absolutely incredible. Considering they're playing on a server that is giving them a higher ping. That's why at times I can't help but feel that ping doesn't matter. Yes, it does, but when you adapt to the situation around you, when you don't allow it to become an excuse, you get past it mentally. A double knock by Z-Fan onto Fate. And the blue zone hurting the MENA team even more. And just Venom left on his own. While on the east, Alliance continue to form a fantastic alliance and spread the control on the east. The circle goes south, but no doubt they have what it takes. Z-Fan gets knocked. Just Rin left on his own. Alliance are only on 5 kills, but they made those 5 kills count. 4 teams left up. Look at Alliance having Ruler on the other side, right? That is perfect. It's exactly what you want. It is giving the team so much information that they're able to use. 2 teams left up as MXR goes down, and just like that, Rin is eliminated. And the CIS team of Alliance come out on top in Erangel. A total of 11 kills in the final game does tip the hat to what has been a pretty good, consistent set of games for Alliance. They made up for poor placement in Sanhok with a high amount of kills, and they balanced it out quite nicely in this game 3. And in game 1 they did have a 3rd place and 5 kill game. However, Nova, 2nd place with 13 kills. They were left with a duo fairly early in the game, and it just didn't stop them taking shots. It didn't stop them puffing up their chests and acting like a full squad and allowing themselves to be as controlling as a full squad would be. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. MXR in 3rd to seal the top 3. The invited team do provide a level of justification with 4 kills. Having a look at the list of teams from 4th to 19th UDR. They lost a battle in Pachinki. It was the Galaxy Racers that came out on top of that. They even gave Galaxy Racers a 6th place finish with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kills. You cannot argue with that one. Of course, one thing to make note of is, at least compared to a fully competitive lobby, there is an extra 2 to 3 teams for these games, so there's automatically more kills available. So as much as it's still impressive, Nova getting this amount of kills, Panda getting that amount of kills, it is something to consider compared to a fully competitive lobby. Of course, by no means are we seeing these teams play these games as seriously as they would in, let's say, an official tournament, but they're still gonna try in a tournament, right? They're still gonna look to play to some form of a standard, right, and get a decent result. So that's why you might see some teams have a few extra kills compared to maybe a proper competitive lobby. I haven't noticed anything that's out of whack, because I know Panda are a fantastic team and they can get those high killing games. Nova are known for, right? And Alliance also known as getting a lot of kills. So nothing really stands out. It's just an element to consider. Fantastic 3 games, and for a day 1 of a 3-day tournament, I can't argue with it. Look, these are all tier 1 teams, right? Pretty much all these teams are tier 1 teams. Some might be not as high quality tier 1 teams, but a lot of them, pretty much all these teams have a fantastic amount of tier 1 experience, where we are seeing a very high caliber of gameplay and some great team fights across the board. Maybe game 2 we might see less early game team fights, because we could have some teams maybe changing their drop spots so they're not hot dropping with another team, right? However, again, because this is a less serious tournament, they just might not really be too worried about that and think, hey, look, we'll just take the fight, we'll look to control. It's very, very interesting. I will look to provide an update of the overall standings. I might need to go for a bit of a short break while they're being calculated on the production side. But again, just to reiterate, a fantastic set of 3 games. Nova will clearly finish on top in the standings because Panda didn't have the best of games, and GODSENT did have a good result, but it wasn't quite matching of what they had up until this point, so they will have slipped a little bit. Again, that cushion between Nova and GODSENT will be quite heavily increased. Nasr also really didn't do the best, so they might have slipped out of the top 5. Yeah, there's a lot. Destiny had a decent game, and they were lying in seventh. They finished in seventh with three kills, so kind of very middle of the pack performances from the German side. So much potential with Destiny. Really, I said it already. You know, B Swave, Mihi, they've all played together as well in different rosters. So there should be that automatic synergy, but it does feel like at times, ironically, because Times is the name of their fourth player, at least in these three games, at times they go from like fantastic tier 1 decision making to what feels like tier 2 decision making, or they lose a player early on and that hurts them in the late game. There's a great theory but kind of poor execution elements of how they play, and I really expect that cleaned up coming into PMPL for EU later on in the year. Just a perspective. I expected a little bit more from Passion Fruit and Lazarus, just a little bit more. But I know Lazarus did, you know, have constant interaction at the start of a game with teams. So that's never going to help, but I still expected a little bit more. Again, both of those teams are playing for North America, so I maybe should hold back. But hey, what can I say? I'm a fan of both teams. I want the best from them, so that does help evolve my expectations just a tiny bit. I'm going to go for a bit of a quick break for a couple of minutes. Being honest, go to the toilet as well. Really need to pee. But hopefully I'll be back in your screens. Final thoughts with the scores at the end of game 1. So you know what we're heading into coming into day 2. Boom. Are you ready? Are you ready to have a look at the overall standings after today's 3 games? I have them. Are you ready? Do you deserve them? Yeah, you do deserve them. These are all awesome, beautiful bastards. Well, let's have a look at the overall scores after day 1. After 3 games of these finals, you have Nova Esports being in the number 1 spot. 65 points over 3 games. That's an average of over 20 points per game. You can't argue with that one. They have a massive 13-point lead over Alliance in second. 11 kills and the chicken dinner in the last game, really jumping them up in the standings. And they have a 10-point gap over PANDA in third. Unfortunately, a 0 placing point, but 6-kill game in the last game hurt them in terms of either holding on or, of course, being much closer to Alliance in second place. GODSENT in fourth, 39 points. Raad Esports in fifth, very good from them. Fate in sixth, definitely saved their day with that final game. Result 12 kill points in the six placing points, should I say. 18 in total out of their total 27. 18 points out of their total 27 was a massive saving grace in Destiny. Yeah, they were 7th before the final game. They finished 7th. They're still 7th. Middle of the pack. You can do better, guys. Nasr in 8th. Fortunately, a poor end of the day, and it does trickle down. So those of you are your overall standings after 3 games here in the War of Myth West Finals. There's still 2 more days to go. Day 2, of course, going to be casted by myself. Same time, same place. Like the stream, subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow the Murderers X, the sponsors of this tournament, over on Instagram. That link is below. And you can, of course, follow myself on Instagram at EVT_Imperium. It's managed by 7 Directions. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. All the people on the backline, the room makers, the scorekeepers, all the graphic people. These are a bunch of legends. My name's Imperium. Thank you for tuning in. And I will see you all tomorrow for some more PUBG Mobile action.